But first, we go to Matt Finn. He's been on the ground in Minneapolis all week long and continuing his coverage today. Let's bring in Matt Finn.
Hi, Kaylee. There's a facility here that ICE is using as its headquarters, and protesters and agitators have been targeting agents there, launching fireworks at them, protesting as well. Well, yesterday, the Deputy United States Attorney General Todd Blanche went inside of that facility. He gave a pep talk to immigration agents. I talked to Mr. Blanche, and I asked him about Governor Walz and Mayor Fry encouraging people here to find opportunities to resist ICE.
Guys, thank you so much for joining me. John Soto, this is SotoCast. We are going to take a look at ICE. Kind of a big topic. Fox just did a report. They're going to talk about, this guy going in, giving these guys a pep talk. Let's see what they get into. I think Tom Homan is going to be on the back end of this, so it should be pretty good.
When the governor or the mayor threaten our officers, when the mayor suggests that he's encouraging citizens to call 911 when they see ICE officers, that is very close to a federal crime.
I don't know how much closer it gets. If you are confronted by law enforcement and then call law enforcement to impede that law enforcement, and you're as an elected official stating that as a, I don't know if that would be considered a decree, or you're making a statement to your public to do this. So. Doesn't sound good.
And sources tell Fox federal prosecutors are investigating both Governor Walz and Mayor Fry for allegedly impeding law enforcement efforts here. Mayor Fry says that's going
to be the only way we get out of this. The only way we get out of this is it's akin to Venezuela, right? Everyone, like, that dude did absolutely not think he was going to get yanked out of his bedroom while he was watching Netflix and eating ice cream. Not a chance in hell. That's what has to happen here. What has to happen here is, this is not about free speech. This is about elected officials that are put in charge of a community saying to do X, Y, and Z in order to prevent federal law enforcement from getting to and enacting their goal, impeding them, making the situation a lot more dangerous. And again, all of this could just go away if you just allowed them to get the criminals that are apprehended by the local PD. That is the crux of the argument. The crux of this argument is that this is a situation that has been brought about by progressives in these cities because they want this. They want to see what you're seeing right now on the screen. All they had to do was, all law enforcement wanted to say, listen, we're not going to go inside your community and get the guy washing dishes and the guy doing drywall and the guy cutting your lawn, right? We get that. We want the biggest bang for our buck. If you get illegals in your jails, in your prisons that have committed crimes against American people, turn them over to us. We will gladly send a couple of guys to go pick them up from the jail, nice and easy. No harm, no foul. We're not going to be running around the city going crazy. Why? Because it's a lot more costly. It's a lot more dangerous. The problem is these cities refuse to do that. They refuse to turn these people over to them in a nice, controlled environment where, guess what? So they're going to be taken out no matter what. Either you're going to hand them over to us nice and easy, or we're going to have to go into your cities, make this mess like we're doing right now. And then in the midst of making this mess, we cannot just turn. If I'm getting a violent robber, illegal immigrant, and right next to him is a guy washing dishes, then he has to go too. That's part of my job at that point. That's the law. I can't just say, well, I don't know. Did he do anything else? I mean, is there a DW? No, that's not the way it works. He's right next to him. He's also illegal. He has to go. They want this to happen. That's the point of it. They want this to happen, just so they can go up there and grandstand and say, look at how terrible this is. Yeah, it's terrible. You caused this. You created the situation. The progressives in these cities, they are deliberately doing this. So, you have to think, and I keep going back and forth. Do we do this? Do we continue to do this? The other side of the coin is to say, you know what? Screw them. Their constituents voted for people that enacted these policies. Leave them alone. Let them become cesspools and crime-ridden cities, and go out, send all of your resources to places where they want to get these illegals out. They want the help. They're asking, come on in. We got them here. Come get rid of them. And what are you going to see happening? You're going to see these places, they're going to become even more densely concentrated with illegals that know it's a safe space. I'm not going to get picked up. I'm not going to get prosecuted. Everything's going to be fine. That may be a better idea. That may be a better idea than having this, than giving these progressives what they want. They want this shot. This is what gets their base riled up, right? Seeing images like this, seeing people be ripped back and forth, it plays so well for them. My question is, do we continue to do it like this, or do we take another approach? Do we say, hey, you know what? If we stop doing these enforcement actions there, what's going to end up? Yes, citizens will be hurt. Yes, unnecessarily, people will die. But they voted for these sanctuary policies. They voted for these people. They voted for these individuals that wanted this to happen. I say give it to them. And then in the neighboring town over, in the neighboring city over, where ICE enforcement is happening, what's going to happen? The illegals will leave there, especially the criminal illegals. They will leave there and they will go to these sanctuaries, turning them more and more violent to the point where the people say, I've had enough. That's what needs to be done, in my opinion. In my opinion. I don't see it happening. I just see, they're not going to play this game. They're just going to say, it's the law. We're going to enforce the law. And I totally respect them for it. If that's, that's the way that they've decided to play this game, and that's their strategy. I respect it. It's legal. The question is, how does it play? It is legal. And it plays very well with the base. But how does it play? I think my idea would play better overall, because then you would have this massive juxtaposition. Right now, you're going in there and you're cleaning up these cities for these people that don't want them to be cleaned up. So they're gonna be left with nicer cities. Well, look, crime has gone down. Yeah, crime has gone down because we've been fighting with you guys to get these people out. We're getting them out, and now crime is going down. So now they're gonna get the fruits of ICE's labor and be able to spin it and say, you see, we had no issues here. You guys came in and made a mess, and our cities are nice. Yeah, they're nicer now, but it's. I mean, I don't know. I just think that if this is what people wanted, we should let them have it. Go and clean up the cities where people really want you to help, your help, and then see how it plays out in the end. Don't think that's going to happen, but I can dream. Maybe someone in the administration will hear this. Guys, if you are hearing this, please hit the subscribe button, because that really helps me out a lot. That's all I'm looking for, subs, helping the channel grow. I have a lot of new subs. Thank you guys so much. Take a look, see what else has in this report.
Probe is meant to intimidate him. Governor Walz says Trump is weaponizing the justice system, and it's an authoritarian tactic, adding, quote, the only person not being investigated for the shooting of Renee Good is the federal agent who shot her. Now, clashes between agitators and law enforcement have been going strong, and now a federal judge appointed by Biden ruled that officers cannot use tear gas on protesters who are peacefully demonstrating. DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin says law enforcement are being attacked and using the minimum amount of necessary force to remain safe. Now, Deputy Attorney General Blanche told a room full of immigration agents and officials that President Trump is proud of their work. He will back them up, and that they do not have to do their jobs in fear.
There's this narrative on social media that they're going to get in trouble, that locals are going to go after them. That is bull.
And the latest number we have this morning from DHS, it tells us that 3,000 illegal migrants have now been arrested as a part of Operation Metro Surge here in Minnesota. Back to you, Kaylee.
Matt Fitton, thank you. Well, could this be some of the language that sparked this DOJ investigation?
I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis.
All across Minnesota, people are learning about opportunities, not just to resist, but to help people who are in danger. We will remain an island of decency, of justice, of community, of peace. And tonight I come before you simply to ask, don't let anyone take that away from us.
Let's bring in Border Czar Tom Homan. Tom, great to have you today. I'm not going to ask you about the DOJ investigation. That's the realm of DOJ. That's the realm of the law. But we know that the facts have to match the law in any given prosecution or investigation. You're on the ground. So going to the facts of the matter, what is happening on the ground? How is this language impeding your investigation and what we see these protesters violently attacking ICE?
Well, look, people can certainly protest. They have that constitutional right. But rhetoric from the mayor and the governor emboldens that small percentage who go beyond protesting to criminal activity. They feel empowered to interfere, impede with ICE officers, put their hands on ICE officers, throw weapons, throw stones and frozen water bottles at ICE officers. I begged the politicians to stop all hateful rhetoric. I started way back in March, saying if the hateful rhetoric doesn't decrease, there's going to be bloodshed, because there is that percentage of crazy people that just need to be empowered and feel, okay, well, if a mayor or a governor or a member of Congress, compares ICE to racists and the secret police and murderers, which is the most recent attack on an ICE officer, they're going to feel emboldened to take illegal action. That's what's happening right there on the ground.
My successor at the White House podium, Jen Psaki, named.
And that's why I think it's lose-lose. That's why I think it is lose-lose. And I think they're smarter than this, but they seem to still be playing into their hands. I don't know if they think it plays well or it looks good. But obviously you have these people that are, like I said, they're government officials. They're putting out, I don't know, edicts or however you want to call it. They're making statements that are essentially telling people to impede what the officials are doing. So it has to be one of two things. One in my view, it's either one or the other. Either they go in there and they arrest Waltz for doing this, or they back out. That would be my two things. Either you go in, you arrest the governor for his essential statements that are telling people to go out there and do this, or you just back out and you let, because now, she just said they've arrested 3,000 illegals. Probably, I don't know what their criminal history was, but little by little, you're making that area safer and safer. The public is not going to see it as that. The public there is going to still see that. They're going to see their leaders saying, "We don't like this guy. Get him the F out. Don't cooperate with them." And at the same time, their city is actually going to be getting safer. So they're not going to correlate that to ICE's action. Does that matter? I don't know. None of those people are going to probably vote for the right anyway. So that's another side. It is very complicated. I don't know. I'm just having an issue with. It seems like we're playing into the progressives' hands with the tactics that we're using right now.
Checked you specifically, and she wants to hold you accountable. Listen to this, Tom Homan.
Control of the House. Are you going to remember, do you have a list somewhere of Gregory Bovino and Tom Homan and all of these people, and are you going to, is holding them to account at the top of your priority list?
Absolutely. It's going to be accountability. All of them are going to be investigated and hauled before Congress.
When I hear that, Tom, I think about Laken Riley, and I think about Jocelyn Nungari, and I think about Rachel Morin, and I think about these young moms and girls who should still be here today, and that's who you're protecting. But they're more focused on you and holding you accountable.
Well, come get some. I mean, bottom line, we're just enforcing laws that Congress enacted. And for a member of Congress, we're going to investigate officers for enforcing laws that we wrote. That's just ridiculous. So look, bottom line is we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We got the law behind us. And, and the bottom line is we're making this country safe again. President Trump promised the American people we're going to enforce the immigration law. And that's probably one of the main reasons they reelected him, by overwhelming majority. So bottom line is President Trump kept his promise. We got the most secure border in the history of the nation. We are running the biggest deportation operation this country's ever seen. And despite what the left says, about 70% of those we arrest are criminals. The other 30% are national security threats that don't have criminal histories. And there are people who find orders who had due process at great taxpayer expense or order removed became fugitives. And yes, we're arresting illegal aliens when we're out there looking for criminals. You want less collateral arrest? Then let us in the damn jail. Try and Waltz could fix this today. Let us into jail so you can arrest a public safety threat and the safety and security of a jail rather than forcing us into the street to find these bad guys.
That's what I've been saying the entire time. And because of that, they can't do it for two reasons. One, politically. Politically, they cannot cooperate with ICE because ICE is the enemy, right? So they can't cooperate with ICE. But secondarily, they know that. So they know they can't cooperate with ICE. So they know they're going to be forced into a situation where they have to go in there and do all this crazy stuff and use tactics and stuff like that and use things that become messy. So, we're still caught in this dichotomy, right? They're not going to let you in to get the bad guys out. But at the same time, going in there is creating fodder for the progressives. So, again, I don't know if the squeeze is worth the juice in this scenario. Maybe it is. Maybe you think it is. If you do, comment below. Let me know what you guys think.
Not just in the jail. I mean, that's a clear order. He could do that today. He could do that right now as we're speaking, and I hope he does. I pulled this up. This is a Washington Post report, and you've been at this a long time, Tom, including in the Obama years. And here's how the Washington Post used to talk about you. Meet the man the White House has honored for deporting illegal immigrants. The Obama White House cited Tom Homan's success, expanding arrest and detention beds by following the Obama administration's directive to sharpen the focus of enforcement on criminals and foreigners who pose security threats. We executed the mission perfectly, Homan said. Has something changed? What you did in the Obama era versus now, or has the press changed?
The press has changed, and we got President Trump, who I think is one of the greatest presidents of my lifetime, and they hate Trump. They don't want to give President Trump a win, but you know what? He's winning every day. Again, most secure border in history of the nation. And if you look at the prioritization of illegal aliens arresting the criminals, they're a higher percentage than we're during Obama.
You know, it's so crazy because most progressives have no idea that Homan was in charge during the Obama administration, and you know. That I think Obama was outpacing them at this point. I'm not really sure. I have to check the numbers again. But again, a lot of people would not even know that.
So, you know, what has changed is the press. What has changed is the hatred for President Trump. He has shown the American people that they lied for the last 4 years when they showed they had a secure border and Congress needed to pass laws to secure that border. He proved that was a lie. He's proven every day that we're winning. And look, I'm proud to work for President Trump. The numbers speak for themselves. We got about 650,000. No, change that. Almost 670,000 formal deportations that we put hands on deported between the CBP and ICE. Another 1.6, 1.7 self-deports was always a part of the plan. We knew if we would surge ICE resources across the country, that would send a strong message that people wouldn't spend their life savings, give it to criminal cartels, and make that dangerous journey. What ICE is doing right now nationwide and in Minneapolis is one of the reasons we have the most secure border in history of the nation. President Trump, no one can match his success on the border and interior enforcement and national security. His success is unprecedented.
No doubt. And final question, I just have a few moments, but in the New York Times interview President Trump did, he said, I would love to see comprehensive immigration. I'd love to see a plan that really worked for everyone. The reporter said, including a path to citizenship for those undocumented here. He said, possibly. Are these discussions underway, and would comprehensive immigration reform help you?
I'm not going to get ahead of the president on that, but I've had numerous discussions with the president. There's a lot of things on the table. The president wants to do the right thing, and I'll just leave it at that for now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. I mean, we don't want another Reagan moment where everyone gets amnesty and then it happens again. The problem is that once you do something like that, then you just make it the ability to, when the other side comes back into power, they open up the border again, and then you end up with an issue. Don't know how they're going to pull it off in the end, but again, you have to respect what they're doing right now. I mean, they are absolutely getting the job done. These governors are making it way harder, right? So during the Obama administration, that wouldn't happen, right? When they were trying to deport people, the governors would work with them, and they would just be able to go into the jail and take the people out. I remember that as something that happened in New York all the time. But now, they don't do that, and it's making things messy. And again, I think it's making things messy on purpose, intentionally. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. 623 Talk is my account on X if you want to follow me there. Please hit the subscribe button. Thank you for all the new subs. I really appreciate it. I'm John Soto. See you again in the next video, guys. Take care.